copies again?
Yeah,
Okay, if, I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes as published, if somebody has any objection. All in favor? Motion carried. Okay, so now to approve the new business, September month ending. I had trouble highlighting those, because when you printed them off, did they highlight?
you can tell whether it was a highlight, it's pretty white.
I did it in orange and then scanned it in because I couldn't do it correctly. I don't know why. I used to be able to do that. So, yeah. So, we should be at the end of September, we should be at 75% of our budget. And some of it's going to be, some of the problem areas we had before kind of ceased to exist after we did the additional appropriations. So we're fine. So, on the township fund, the office supplies were over that's peanuts. And printing and advertising, line 3C, we're at 75%. The bottom line there for line 3M, we're at 35%, so we're really shaking the township. Capital outlays, that happened as a result of doing additional appropriations. We've only spent 38%, so we're in good shape there. And you can see there down at the bottom, like what we had in cash, 204,000 at the beginning of the month, and then you got to jump, see the expense total, get the balance at the end of the month, it's 301,766. Any questions on the township budget? The township assistance, that was 2 pages also. We show cash balance of 5763 to 57,000. And if you go to the second page, that's where the expenses and everything shows up. And we're only 30% for the year. And I want to point out that we show no receipts there down at the bottom of the row. At the bottom, we show no receipts because we're not taking a tax levy for quarterly. We've been able to have enough cash to cover the township assistance without taking a tax levy on that. We haven't for a number of years. So, and we'll have to take a levy in 2026. So getting on to account fund 1111 township fire, again, we should be at 75%. We've got compensation at 87%, but that's a front end loaded deal. And for year to date, we're at 73%, which is up to 75, obviously. Supplies, repair, again, stationary supplies are 84%. Total 60% in the supplies account, so we're fine there. Moving on down to other services and charges, insurance and workers' comp, we're at 81%, but again, that's another one that's high and loaded. And contracts and services, we're 88%. Not a huge deal, it's total budget was $35,000. So again, some of these areas that were a problem before we did the additional appropriation have kind of rectified themselves. And the total for the township year-to-date expense is 196,263, and we're 59%. So obviously that's less than 75. Capital outlays, 70%. And see the cash balances there. On the bottom. And we started out with 32, and we ended up the month with 900. $4,000 cash balance, which has to last us the rest of the year. And then, any questions on that, fire fund? Okay, food fund, as you remember, we looked at $450,000, or 42% spent year to date, $190,000. So cash beginning was $666,000 at the end of the month, it was $599,000. Any questions on that?
Now, mostly it was from the capital west that was put together.
Yeah. So last page on the financials is the fund ledger, and that one, you can, it's pretty much a rehash on the cash in the fund and so on, and it's at the bottom of the stuff we just discussed. Only have one question there, and again, we got two carryover funds from the territory down the bottom there, that 8604 and 8692, and those, still not quite sure how that all translates, but is that something to do with the sale of Invid 41?
We had not reconciled that along with some other stuff that we need to, so we hadn't sent them any money yet.
We still haven't seen that. They said they still have not seen that.
Yeah, we need to get that over with, and then there was some utility issue.
Yeah, there's a few miscellaneous things that have to be worked out, there's a perfect thing.
So, anyhow, that's why those two, I guess, why those two fire protection territory accounts still show up there, but that's still kind of rolling in the wind out there. But we did get paid for the engine, and we paid the guy that did the advertising or whatever, we're not waiting, he hadn't sent us a bill.
Right.
So,
I called it 3 times, so maybe he doesn't want to pay.
okay, any questions on the financials? There being none, any other business from you? Feasibility study, I checked with Arcos. I think they're done with the physical work, but they're preparing a report that we're looking for on the survey.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. On new business, we do some 3. Discuss.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Sorry, got in a hurry. Back to the budget. As you recall, at the last meeting, we presented the budget for 2026. And as a part of that, it was read that anybody objecting to the budget had 7 days to make that objection to one of the 3 of us, or 4 of us, whatever. And I didn't get any objection to either of you, so that being the case, I propose that we go ahead and vote on the budget, adopt the budget for 2026. You make a motion, I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. So the budget for 2026 has been approved and it's being advertised. Thanks for catching that, Darryl. Okay, now, the feasibility study, I think is done. They're in the process of putting the report together. I think it was kind of interesting. I think they located all the utilities and everything as part of the study.
They was here again,
Have they been here recently?
yeah, just last few days, last week they were here again a couple times.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what all they're still surveying, but
Okay, so that being the case, we'll be getting a report from them, and then, I think a final report from our. So, any questions on any of that? The dissolution, we kind of already talked about that, the 41 is sold, but, obviously everything hasn't been made yet. The Clayton Center territory, there was a meeting, yeah, Friday at 1 o'clock. It was at Doris's office over on McKinley. And, I believe the trustee from Clay, Sean, Lindsay, Sean, he was there. A woman from German showed up later. George. She's the clerk at Clay. Shabel was there, Doris was there. And that was it. And Tim Shabel presented, I guess he's been working with the chiefs, and the manpower in each station was presented. Basically, there's 3 people in each station is what they're proposing. And then he also, so he went through that, then he went, and that amounts to 72 people, 3 shifts, times 3, times whatever, that's 72 people. And then it presented the administration, there's 2 mechanics, there's VC, for 1 per shift.
Well, actually, 3 per shift.
3 per shift.
Yeah, there's 2 in Clay and 1 in Canada.
Okay, and then there's some about tankers, guys, guys that drive the tankers, 2 floaters all the time.
Yeah, he covers the
I guess.
It's
So when
supposed to
you're
be progress,
additional staff, the overhead, there's
miles
over
an hour.
100 people. Right?
136, maybe.
Yeah, so there's 8. So their preliminary budget then before it goes to Steve Dalton was $23 million. Originally, when
No, you didn't tell me about first hand.
the first meeting in Mishawaka, that's where Dalton came up with 25. Now they've refined it, everything is 23.
90,000 98 Haviland Drive.
3
The only
contingencies.
other complaint is that he found 15 minutes requesting to stand by while he delivers paperwork. 19298 Haviland Drive.
Battalion chief here, because, when we met Tuesday, Chief Eric from Penn brought up the fact that the German West County, or West Township line to Battalion 2's headquarters was 6 miles. Battalion 2 to Battalion 4's station was 6 miles. And from Battalion 4 to Penn's Battalion 5 was 6 miles. And then from Battalion 5 to our west green line was almost 12 miles. So we're gonna propose putting the battalion chief here to help cover that. And then also request a tanker driver here due to the amount of square miles we cover the rural area. So that was the 3 contingencies, an ambulance, a battalion, and a medic.
Yeah, so I made a comment, well, when we had the first meeting way back on whenever it was at the food pantry, and Dalton threw out his rough cut estimate, he said $25 million budget. But if we do those contingencies, it might be over that. But the rest of the story is then the net assessed values aren't available, so you can't figure what the tax rate is going to be. Now remember, that would be a 2027 budget, not a 26. So they factored in making raises, so on and so forth. We've done a study on all the salaries in various South Bend salaries and the, fringe benefit package with insurance and all that stuff. So, roll that all together.
And what's the aggregate budget now for the three entities?
If we had, well, I worked that up before we had the meeting at the food pantry. And if we add up the budgets for 2025 for center, play, and Penn, the budget's like 15 million. And it was funny because I had that figured out and then net assessed value and all that stuff, and I shoved my paper across, and I just arbitrarily said 20 million. That's, if we combine, and then shoved it over to Steve Dalton and said, we're 5 million light, so that's my, you know. Any questions on that? I know I rambled on. There's no decision on who the, other things to be considered, who's going to be the provider, and the name and all that kind of stuff. So I think, Judy and I talked just briefly, I've got about 10 things that are going to be requirements for us to join. One thing, I think we want to keep our shift schedule. And that's number one. Number two, I want there to be 5 people here and our current employees being offered positions here. So that means it may be an ambulance. If it's not an EMT, I got to
So they would have to have.
we at least want an ambulance here. And it's, it was brought up there that St. Joe County currently is paying South Bend $3 million. Well, I don't know $3 million, but paying South Bend $3 million for 2 paramedic ambulances along York Road, or someplace. And supposedly, I don't know where they're getting their information, but they're pretty certain that St. Joe County is going to stop that. So the rest of the county is going to be on their own for paramedics. Anyhow, the net result of that deal is they get about $2 million back in recovery funds. So the net cost to the county is really about $1 million for the 2 ambulances. So I'm just regurgitating what I know and what I've heard. And if you got any questions, I'll try to answer them. But Judy and I both want to keep the schedule the same here. We want everybody to have a position here.
413 Jayette, Illinois.
And we want to keep the name. So it may be the new territory.
She's 21 Front Street, bringing 17-year-old male playing Johnson, alternate.
Member of whatever
Bring
territory name
Black Hoodie and Red GMPN.
is. So,
Last seen earlier today, 201
not
Front
sure
Street.
who would write up the agreement. We were talking about that briefly. There's always Steve Augustino, but there was some conversation about, well, we just cut and paste some other agreement that he's done, and so they were kind of looking at the guys from the Indiana Township Association or somebody like that.
So I have a question, if we do not go to this territory and South Bend stops using providing ambulance service, what are we gonna do in this area?
We'll have to. Yeah, there are some other possibilities. Does North Liberty have a paramedic?
No.
They do not.
Yeah, ambulance, but not ambulance. That's, yeah.
They have 24-hour coverage, so it's just ambulance service, no paramedic, so it's.
If they call South Bend, they think it's something serious to have them put them in transport paramedic or ALS.
Yeah, so I guess it takes 3 years to get a paramedic trained up.
Our schooling is at least 18 months, at least 18 months. That's just school.
So, I guess I got a lobby, husband and some other people, that they don't discontinue that, I mean,
So
you
the county
know,
pays that? The county does that?
the county pays South Bend.
So your county
And
tax?
it used to be free, I believe. But when Penn put theirs online, brought them on into the mix, dropped it back to, I think.
And when that all started, those three ambulances were covered Clay, Harris, and they covered up the entire county, the inception of Chihuahua. Clay got theirs first.
So, we're talking about,
Yeah, Clay has.
so anyhow, my argument is, how, you got money for parks, and you got money for sidewalks, and you got money for libraries, but, keep the ambulance. Any, everybody waiting? Well, I probably got three.
Yeah, they got the.
If the county dropped the contract, would it be possible for you to just contract for some township in South Bend? Or?
Well, that could be a possibility, I guess, I hadn't thought about that. Maybe,
Doris is working on that. She said technically, they should be getting some kind of reimbursement since they are providing the ambulance service. So she's working on it.
the sticky wicket in all this is that the law only requires the trustee to provide fire service. And it's morphed into the ambulance deal too, so obviously the law's out of date. So, the county is looking at discontinuing it or whatever, because legally, township trustee only has to provide fire service.
I would be happy that not having the full ambulance. But it's just having transport like a delivery has.
So, what's wrong?
Then they're not possible to get because
Show me around the 20 West Front.
and then they are able to collect money for it. Where once you get by the ambulance, it's going to be a service. That to me sounds pretty reasonable. Then all of our men would be able to handle that.
So there's a lot of moving parts, because,
Before it was South Bend, they had private,
Yeah.
they hired private. things.
Well, they said the hospitals have at one time.
some of the hospitals still do. I guess every county is done on it differently. I mean, there's lots of different ways it's being done.
But they only did it for a town. For a town.
Now, are they full
That they had, the county had medics.
Tri-county has medics, I assume,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
so, yeah, they would contract with them.
They had
Just to put one here.
So that's what the Powell Freeman and Sherman Township does. Let's say, if I remember right, that budget's close to about $500,000 contract in that area.
So there are some options, I guess. And then there's also discussion about, Carl Baxmeyer held a meeting, he goes downstate, doing all these meetings with the commissioners meetings or whatever, and he's getting the fire that we're going to eliminate the township fire department. Everybody should have a countywide fire department. And of course, that's kind of the impetus behind now being official is their deal. So, anyhow, I was unable to attend. We attended. Scott Lady from Madison attended, and he said he's got other options. He might hook up with agreement or something. So, anyhow, like I said, there's lots of moving pieces in this whole discussion, and we're trying to get it as honestly as I can what's going on. Any further questions on any of that? My thing building is capital needs, and they're all consolidated into a different format. Are there any? You all had a chance to look at it. The one thing I would comment on is the generator. We presently have 3 quotes. I had to go back and quote 60 kW because I think that professional opinions tell me that would be more than enough, even if we add on. And then Dale Oliver works at Permanent Gas, and anyhow, I got a little Tony Permanent, came up with the situation over, they install Gillette, I believe they are, they're getting out card. We threw out, we want gas or diesel, natural gas or diesel, and that kind of threw a little wrinkle into things, but anyhow, he sent me a quote for 3 different options, but it was equipment, labor, and a total of the, didn't tell me the make, the size, all that kind of little stuff, was taking the old out and so on and so forth. So he did, I asked him for more detail, and he sent me that, I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but
I was here today, here he was talking about the complications with the natural gas service.
yes, and the other guys we're almost positive we have to go to a high pressure system. And so every gas consuming device we have in here would have to have its regulator changed. So that's another thing that I hope to put that all together, side by side spreadsheet. And then I would like to have Tom Burtle, if he's willing, and Tom McCormick, who has installed. He does it too, but generally smaller ones. Let 2 people run down before they.
Something that, Permanent Gas and Dale Oliver brought up about doing that with all the new regulators, they all have to be fit. Have to do that plumbing, so if they overpressure, it's got to go that gas outside, and breathe. So that could be a problem too. Taking every fill this and put a pipe off of that and to get it to vent outside.
Well, yes, I guess I haven't heard that story before, but we haven't heard anything from the gas company. I filled out that form and sent it to Richard Day, and then they were going to request NIPSCO come in and give us the detail on all that, what's involved with that. Do you have any experience with any of that? So anyhow, that's like the Gillette from Permanent Gas, if it was diesel, you could avoid that. He also said you could put the tank, make it big enough, you can fill your trucks out of it. Then you get into off-road diesel, regular diesel, and so on. Lots of things to consider. Seems so simple to begin with. Anything else on here? I'll let go.
The one thing we added, talked to the firefighters, engine 42, the other day, it was replacing the squad because it was in the shop. The passenger doors are probably open as they're going down the road. So we're having issues keeping doors shut on that truck.
I had that trouble with my sprayer.
Maybe
I
you go back
I
and
put a new latch on.
But, yeah, we adjusted the doors and stuff before. RPI down in Tipton, they have a, truck on site they just refurbished. It was in Algonquin, Illinois, it was just used for the training division, so it's got real low miles. Again, totally refurbished, top and bottom, I've got, paperwork here for that. We're asking $185,000 for it. The reason we got that information is I called in to see what it would cost to refurbish this one, and this one's gonna be about $350,000 to $400,000 to refurbish. So,
Okay, so this is the backup.
correct.
You're out on the hall, or it's set up front.
It's in the front,
Hmm? No. No,
that's an 89,
it was the best of the two we had.
right?
You sold 41. And this,
Older, that one was always in the shop, always had, for the time we got it,
I was gonna say, should we look at an ambulance, but I guess it sounds like this is a harder issue. Okay, go ahead. Anything else you want to say?
Just, stuff that was on the, that's been on the list, first column is the quoted prices I got. Third column is, purchase price, so these are the items that have already been purchased and been delivered. And then, the last column is, items that were quoted but have not been delivered yet. So, right now, we've, spent $130,000, on capital, and, we got 24,684 ordered. And just, again, just wanted to know about what we do with that, if we need to replace that.
Well, how far away is this thing?
Typically, Indiana.
Including on the side.
Yeah. Yeah, RPI has been in business a lot of years.
They're a dealer.
They repair trucks, they repair wrecked trucks, refurbish trucks, they do it after a lot of years. Actually, they refurbished this one. For payment when this was, colored.
Well, I agree with that. Maybe who's your committee looking at?
Just, talked to, the guys looking at different trucks, Braxton's looking, Andy's been looking. JC is looking at all.
That was close enough.
But I talked to him today. So we got a meeting tonight. I told him probably to make a decision after.
You said you want to start looking. You want to start looking for an angle too?
Well, I didn't know how urgent the engine was.
Just a little
We should
history.
have done a little bit on the ambulance.
Just a little history on the ambulance is you're gonna have to have, you're gonna have to get approval from the state, you're gonna have to get approval from the hospital, the medical director. There's a whole bunch of paperwork that's gotta be done. It's a nightmare getting an ambulance.
It takes 5 years, you gotta buy 2.
Yeah, you gotta have two, you gotta own two of them, you gotta have a backup.
Well,
And the thing is, they're having trouble finding qualified people for it. So they are actually paying, I understood it right, they're paying school. These people that are in school.
A lot of places, Plymouth does that too. But what Plymouth, like, who's a volunteer for once a year, they'll pay for those guys to go to school, but also have to sign a contract with, say, if it was this year, they'd say that they would stay for 5 years after they got their paramedic. But if they didn't, then there was a prorated that they'd have to pay that spot back to the school.
They also said, they have said some, and they thought you were giving
51 for a welfare check.
number 12, that's
Like I said, you make a contract.
20,891 Cleveland Road
You owe us the
for a
money.
welfare check as a 20-year-old
If
who is
you
male,
pass, you have to put X
changed
amount of years of
gender,
service.
threatening to harm himself, 20891 Cleveland Road.
theirs.
I might, hearing all this conversation, because I was aware of it, you gotta have two and so on. Order throughout the idea about Tri-County. I might give them a call, see if they would, if that's even a possibility of them locating on here.
The fire chief at Madison, Scott Howard, I think that's what he does for Tri-County, is he does all the contractual stuff. Because I know they got a huge contract with, forestry service, they said through the forest fire. So at least that's all they're on.
Contractor who?
US Forestry Service, they send crews out to forest fires. Like 3 forest fires out west, Tri-County provides neighbors and veterans. And that's what Scott does, he sets all those contracts out.
Okay.
So, yeah, what they outfitted, the stuff from one transfer, and have to.
Pretty certain.
I don't think that's basically have to go through an approval process on both emails.
Guys, they come in, the state does a, inspection, you get a 4-digit ID number for it from the state. Yeah, they go through it, but there's certain stuff that has to be on.
Does the state underwrite some of the cost then?
I doubt it, I don't know.
Well, if they've got all these requirements and numbers.
Yeah.
Through that cycle, we use one for a month and then use the other. So we don't have stale stuff on them.
Okay. Good idea, sir.
119 Signal Park.
Kind of a number of how many times we haven't had in the ambulance.
Every medical call they do with us, so I, whatever the number, every time we want a medical call, they must be with us.
We're at what, 820 calls this year?
They
They probably been on it.
So they call you guys out, is that what happens?
Well, no, they get a call and they show up from wherever they are.
They come to Station 10 or wherever.
But is there ever a time that you go and you don't need to transport the person?
Yeah, then you call the ambulance, so they can disregard.
Well, that's what I'm asking. But you had 800 that had to actually take somebody?
So just, I mean, times that they're going out on call, I mean, there's very few calls that they on. You know, like, you got a house fire, you have somebody get out here or that, they're going.
Hospital, you have to see.
If I'm correct, the call will come out from dispatch if you got a situation like you got down the road, somebody couldn't breathe.
Yeah,
And so you go and the medic gets,
Same
and
thing.
you get there and you see maybe going to fall off.
Right, right.
So they don't actually have to go on every medical call that comes in. But it starts out that way, right?
It's, yeah, they get dispatched. They could be dispatched.
Okay. Fire chief report.
So the first due, that's a living document, and we're constantly, working with that. Got an email today, I believe it was, they're having an issue getting the fire hydrants, on the mapping system, so I got an email to the water department for that, and, we're working on a training platform. I've got, Dave Summers, who's an instructor, and Kendall Foes, we're gonna, the 3 of us are gonna work on the training platform, keep track of our training hours and stuff. So, that first due, it's a continuing, living document, we're constantly doing something with it to upgrade it, improve it, so. So as far as the implementation complete, I don't know if you could ever say it's complete, it's always evolving. Runs 70 for the month of September. 825 year to date. The best practices, again, that's on SharePoint, firefighters got access to the policies and procedures that are on there. And, best practices for firewall, I have not been really happy with them at all. We get like one a month, I try to get 4, and won't do any more than that. And they're virtually the same thing that we have from the old system that Chris Bowman took the time to transfer over to the Center Township and everything, so. We've got an officers meeting in the morning, I'm gonna discuss more on that, if we not redo that with them.
It was considerably cheaper.
$1,500 compared to like 10,000 some change. So.
So you get what you pay for?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when I was in the class, he talked about sending out all these documents and only get one a month. So we've got 700 and some pages of policies and procedures and rules and regulations. If you're only getting one a month, that might make 700 months to catch up with what we got. Equipment maintenance, SWAT 42 is one sitting outside. They just come back from the shop. They replaced the
newer one?
Yeah, it was in the shop. They replaced the power steering canister. It had been leaking. And then kept throwing a code for the turbo. They stopped by here. They put the computer on it. He was able to update everything, reset everything. They quit alarming, and then we shut down, started it. It started alarming again. So they took it into the shop, they found like 3 or 4 air sensors that were bad. So we had to replace those. So, in 22, yeah, so it's 4 years old now. The tie-in to Jordan Ford, we're having a problem with body lights, ended up finding out through troubleshooting that the electrical module had some moisture in it. So pretty much right now, so it's sort of with the new module, and it should be done tomorrow. Just small tool items that we got solids down, parts should be here tomorrow, you said. They're here now, so Kendall was working on that, getting that repaired. So equipment wise, I think we're setting good. There's issues that we get every time we use something. Personnel issues, training personnel, they do every 30 days, we're rotating shifts for them so they get on every shift. Again, meeting tomorrow, I'm gonna bring up the time sheets for Catherine, evaluation on each shift of each individual, so we can evaluate that.
How does your probationary period work? Do they get, is it 90 days?
It's 90 days before they get in the union and they can do like trade time and stuff, but,
Do we give them an assessment or something?
that's what we're gonna do tomorrow, is talk about that, get everybody assessed. E and F kind of go together. Got new on calls that have been working. We had a rough fire Sunday afternoon. Had 5 on calls show up. I can't remember the last time I've had 5 on calls show up. Backfill a truck and then someone went out there to help. So that was. I'll skip over G for now. H grants, right now grants are all due to the government shutdown. I'm still working with that company that Steve mentioned.
So you get in contact?
Yeah, I finally got a hold of somebody, so now we're trying to start working on and figure out what the problem is.
From that other township?
Correct. American grants.
Good.
So hopefully we'll get something resolved for our grants. So that, Chris, I don't know if there's any updates there, and I'm still having to court, and I don't know.
Well, I gotta tell you, Judy and Dale, they didn't go. We went at the request of the prosecutor's office, we went up there because of the complaint that was filed. And they went up there, so, they gave us an advocate, name of an advocate, so I thought, okay, I'm gonna, what's going on with this deal? Because I understood nobody showed up at the 24th. Nobody calls me back. I actually got a hold of a live person and I said, what I wanted to know, I said, what's the status of this deal? And, oh, I'll have that person call you, well, I never got that call, so I tried calling again today. And I got it, due to high call volume or something, nobody here to answer your call.
I even went down to the office one time,
Yeah.
and it was fun.
Dennis one, another Donald three, overdose, priority six, another Donald 1748 hours.
Better off in my opinion, number one. That's just my opinion. But he's just driving me sometimes. That's why
Land lot 21, 53,194, 83. Distance 53,194, 83, 17, hours.
I sent 29 pages.
Clear, beautiful traffic for Cleveland.
Okay, any questions for the chief? Reports from others?
Everyone for you. What was
Well, meeting wise,
the name of the party?
I can't get a hold of the insurance. Yeah, Tina, I called Tina, she said she doesn't handle the day-to-day, so she gave me a guy, he won't answer the phone, he won't answer the return phone call, so. Maybe you can have some better luck.
This is what you.
They're doing health insurance.
Yeah. The fire guy up in Niles over.
She told me, she says, I don't handle the day-to-day, I'm just basically the broker. This is the guy that's gonna handle, I'll send everything over to him. I've got a phone number for him, he just will not return phone number.
What she means by day-to-day.
She's just the broker, and then they have the guys and people like call in and have questions. She doesn't handle that. So he won't even return phone calls to us. I had three, today would have been a fourth phone call collection. And the other thing I got, I'd like to propose, I spoke with the guys at South Bend. They will allow us to use their training tower for some live fire training and some stuff that really needs to be done, especially with the new guys. But the problem is, we would have to have coverage of overtime to cover that. Basically, 4 hours per shift. I want to bring it to you guys if you're willing to pay overtime to let each shift go up there and train for 4 hours. We have 3 brand new guys here that we got to make sure they're comfortable with live fire training and other stuff that needs to be. We have no training facilities to be able to do this.
Yeah, so if they did it on shift, could we get on calls? I guess that's probably what you're gonna ask. On calls to fill your slots.
21 year,
But we can fill a few slots.
or
You know, people
So,
here that manage the shift.
So it's a one-time deal?
I would like to see it done at least quarterly. So, and I don't think that's unreasonable. We have no place to train. We've been without training for almost basically for 10 months. And I think that's
So this is
Not
every, you guys or everybody?
Well, I want each shift to go. We could say, A shift and have the incoming B shift cover for the, or have them go and get paid overtime because we were training like B shift is not shift. And then each shift would cover once for that time. It would be 4 hours for the 5 guys to go, or to have cover and stuff, at time and a half. And
The problem is, they won't go to Mishawaka, then you got 2 stations, so no coverage, but they run Mishawaka, which is right outside the area. We don't have anywhere else to go except downtown. So if we're downtown, there's no way you're getting back here in time there. So that's why when we had 41, we had training cans up there, we're gonna deal with this training nonstop. We just switch stations, or it's a quick run back, we don't have that here.
So you're saying with the 2 stations,
Like, at 41, we had shipping containers out back, that was our training. And now, since obviously we don't have that anymore, we don't have it here.
Well, it's not, we aren't gonna have it in our budget, like, we should have known this before we made the budget, like I said. It's gonna be pretty.
I understand that maybe we should have brought that in. We weren't even asked to be involved in part of the budget for this meeting. We asked when we signed our contract last year in June, or whatever date that was, July, that we knew the budget hearings would be coming up, we had some things we'd have to talk about. When we talked here just about 6 weeks ago, we went over, or met, we were basically told everything was done, and that was what we were gonna get. We were gonna get a 5% raise, and that was the only thing that was gonna change in our contract. Am I wrong, Tom? We came in and you guys said the budget was already set,
we hadn't submitted it yet.
and I understand.
I told you that we put a 5% raise in. There's other, could have been changed, it was before our hearing, a month ago.
Right. You didn't bring that until it was basically the time to do it. When you talked to me and Brian, and I think the chief was, you still sitting?
Well, Darrell set in on all the fire budget. So, that was.
Listen, I'm not trying to push off anything wrong on anybody. I'm just asking if we can do this, because we need to have the fire training.
What I am saying is, we have to sit down and put some figures together to see if we're gonna be anywhere near our budget. I mean,
Well, I'm asking for you guys to please do that, and come back to us to see if we can get something done.
Okay, so it's.
Is it possible just for us to buy some shipping containers, and obviously we're laying high tier at the top, we have a little floor somewhere, we can put them there, if you're, we need to search right there. You have to spend a little money on buying shipping containers, so in essence, maybe we did it 41, but I mean, obviously, we're laying high tier. But if we even had another facility property somewhere in our area to put containers, we would start building a training center and stuff for ourselves.
that they had a practice up there, and I was able to get rid of all my flooded stuff and take it up to Portage.
Yeah.
And burn it, so. I like that.
Yeah, but that's what we should find, you get a tradition of what shipping containers. So like Braxton County, we have a problem that's up here, it's for sale, that's expressway, Main Street, that's been vacant since the flood. Just for example, we just had a little piece of property to put containers on and build a little training area for ourselves. Then we can stay in our area, train whatever we want, we don't have to, let South Bend dictate when we have to train, and have to worry about filling our station for us to go training.
I propose we table this and sit down and talk with Darrell. I don't know.
That's fair enough. You just wanted to bring it together, to bring
Yeah,
it to light so we can get something going. We can't sit here and just be stagnant and have no training.
I agree.
So, just some quick math on what he was suggesting, I come up like $1,500 is what that would cost you in overtime.
Per quarter cycle.
That would cover all 3 shifts. It'd be $1,500, that's just rough math. The other idea that I just thought of was, they were saying that is, you've got 5 on, But you just brought one person in, and then you have three people who go train and swap. So you have three covering, you could only be putting one extra person on, you could probably fill that.
All right, you're having an officers meeting tomorrow, discuss that, and tell us what you wanna do. I mean, $1,500 a quarter,
Well,
we'll
that's,
certainly do
yeah.
that.
The way I
And I fully appreciate your,
It's $40 an hour, roughly, that's or my rate is 3 people, 4 hours.
$1,500.
So if we're gonna do that, now we're under that thing, we have to have five. So during that training time, it would allow us to just have the four.
So if we had, I know it's getting out of turn on the contract, but if we have, bring one in and have three here and three training, free training, if there's anything major, then break away from the training, and take a little longer to get
Yeah, they're about that boys and girls club.
All right, well, so you're gonna discuss that with your officers tomorrow, you have to get back to us with, anything IT, or is that it with you and Dave?
I don't have anything else. Thank you.
IT, we got money or anything we need to be buying?
I talked to, Chris Coleman about, tablet, so they can download all the items on every vehicle, so when they do the daily checks, it's all on the computer, and then they first do for logging all our, daily checks.
You could probably use iPads.
No.
It'd be nice to have more than one, in case something happens.
So you work that out.
I talked to Chris, he's had other issues, so he'll have issues.
He said he did it.
Oh, you do,
Yeah.
okay. Got it. Bring that.
So after you get back to the